What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of RGTP. I am your host, Lewis, and with me, as always, Mr.
Hello,
Mamba.
hello, hello.
How are we doing today?
I'm doing all right, bro. Got in the mood to talk about some basketball beforehand.
There is a
2K
lot.
is so bad, bro.
Oh, 2K is wonderful, man. But we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk some NFL awards, Super Bowl winner. We had the trade deadline.
Yeah,
Holy fuck,
I've
everything
seen
that
the
happened from
teams played
Wednesday.
together. Some,
Yeah, a lot
Luka,
has changed from
Kyrie.
last
Whew,
Wednesday.
yes,
A lot has changed from last
yes.
Wednesday. And then, of course, All-Star Weekend tips off Friday, a night jam-packed week, multiple games, multiple events. It is going to be spectacular. Cannot wait. But,
Agreed.
of course, let's start off with what sort of picked up from where we left off last week, the NFL awards. We officially have, we crowned our MVP, our Defensive Player of the Year. We crowned it all. And let's start with somewhere a little of emotion. Out in the NFC East, comeback player of the year, Geno Smith. How do you feel about
Deservingly so.
Geno?
I
Geno
mean,
on the come up.
and I can speak from. I did not think Seattle was going to be anything.
Nope.
Geno, it was like, oh, cool, Geno's your quarterback. He's been in the league 13 years now, hasn't been able to get much going for himself, and then he proved complete, about 70% of my passes. I'll bring the Seattle Seahawks and we'll work together and get this team into the playoffs and prove everybody wrong. So, rightfully so, Geno Smith.
Geno Smith led them to the playoffs. Crazy.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
No one.
Who would have thought from fourth pick to playoffs?
Maybe a couple people.
Rebuilding, bringing in new pieces, getting, moving off from dangerous. Shout out to Seattle. They got something. We saw him in the Pro Bowl. It was a little bit different style game, but he was having fun out there. Shout out.
Yeah, they were building forward to the women's flag football league, which it looks like is happening, or maybe it's just flag football in general.
I think it's gonna be for. I
think it is for women, yeah, because we only saw women in that commercial. So,
I think that's exactly what it is. But let's continue going on with Coach of the Year. They could definitely be some people, Doug Peterson could have been in the running potentially, but of course the winner from the New York Football Giants, Brian Daboll, leads that team also to the playoffs and a first-round playoff win over the Minnesota Vikings. This award was very deserving for Daboll. Shout out to him. I jumped on the bandwagon a year too soon.
You did.
But shout out to the Giants. They have some things to figure out now, though. Sterling Shepard was just released. They had to figure out if they're going to be paying Daniel Jones. They know Dak and company is still in the division. And, of course, we just saw Jalen Hurts and company make it all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yep. I mean, I feel like for all these awards, they were all justified, and it's not really too much you can nitpick at. Of course, people are going to be like, oh, what about this person? What about that person? Daboll took the Giants to the playoffs when
and won a playoff.
They had no weapons. It's not like they didn't have what their weapons were lacking. No one believed in Daniel Jones, Saquon. Good year. The defense could use a little bit more offensive line. The Giants were in no position, it felt like, to win a playoff game.
Nope. Arguably
upset the number 3 seed.
Yep.
Vikings, y'all trash. Shout out Daboll though.
Brian Daboll with the Coach of the Year. Shout out to him. And of course, let's stay in New York, because New York didn't just win Coach of the Year. They also won Offensive Rookie of the Year. And wait, let me check. And Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
But not the Giants on the flip side. It is the Jets leading the way. Garrett Wilson on one side of the ball and Sauce Gardner on the other. Talk about the future being bright in New
Find a
York outside of
quarterback.
quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. How we feeling? I mean,
Yeah.
rookie of the year was a little hampered due to some injuries. It still probably would have went there if Brees Hall was healthy. It looked like he was about to start running away with it.
Yep.
But Kenneth Walker was out there. Isaiah Pacheco, when you think of the body of work, including the Super Bowl, hell of a season. For him, on the flip side, of course, Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, some of the names to be discussed. But the Jets walk
That's
away
why
with
they're regular season awards. But Gardner, no brainer. Dude was a lockdown. Garrett Wilson, you can have the what about Walker? What about Olave? Probably the closest out of all the awards for me was offensive rookie. So yeah, I would have loved it coming home to the Saints and all that, but it is what it is. Go get a ring next year. He can have the rookie of the year. Let's get a ring, Olave.
Okay, hey, I hear it. Yeah, now that one was definitely gonna be the closest of the races, so to speak. Shout out to the Jets, though. They are in my
Yes.
division as a Patriots fan, but it looks like they are building some really good
Right
pieces.
direction. Yep.
Just mentioned, obviously, Hall. Whenever he comes back, if they can figure out that quarterback situation, the Jets the Jets.
I
gonna
heard
be
it.
giving some people some games.
Aaron.
Aaron's going into solitude darkness for the next weekend or whatever it is.
But everybody on the Packers already like, we're good if he leaves. We got love. Yeah,
Madness.
we're open to trading him. Yeah,
Madness, bro.
Get what you
Absolute
can.
madness.
Get what you can. And then
True.
get your wide receivers for Jordan Love.
True. Yeah, true. And then, of course, moving onward, we have the hard-hitting defensive player of the year from the San Francisco 49ers, Nick Bosa, anchoring down one of the best defenses in the NFL. Of course, the biggest
best defense, maybe.
Definitely. The biggest sort of controversy with this award was how Micah Parsons didn't seem to rack up any first-place votes and drove people insane on Twitter. But nonetheless, congratulations to Nick Bosa, 49ers. Just, probably a busted arm away from the Super Bowl. We won't know, but kudos to the Bosa.
Benefit of that entire defense being spectacular.
An absolutely star-studded roster.
Yeah, when you got Fred Warner behind you, you can just chase after that man. What's his Ufunga? I love that dude already, man. Love him already. Yes.
Another Pro Bowl.
Great.
Yep.
He had so many interceptions this year. Love it. 49ers defense, very scary.
Yeah, very true, very true. It was only, like I said, Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa. You can't go wrong. There's a lot of really good edge rushers and defensive linemen. We saw Aaron Donald's was banged up all season. The whole Rams team was banged up. TJ Watt tore his pec in literally the first.
Yep.
There's so
Chandler
much.
Jones was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, there's so many absolute game wreckers. So it's tough to really pinpoint one out. It tends to come down to health and overall impact. You can't really be mad about Nick Bosa winning this award. Kudos.
Well, I mean, you can, but you
can. Kudos to him, though. And of course, moving onward, we have our offensive player of the year. And was there any question on who it was gonna be?
Nah. Honestly, he probably should have been MVP.
The number one wide receiver in the NFL, Minnesota Vikings' very own Justin Jefferson. Yes, the best wide receiver in the NFL. You can argue all you want. This kid is filthy. And he's arguably has just a mid-average of the pack. Some people would call it below average quarterback. And
exactly average.
Busted.
He is dead in the middle average.
Win percentage-wise, literally, yes. But Justin Jefferson absolutely busted. Offensive player of the year.
It's a shame he couldn't get that receiving record. He had a down the last 2-3 weeks, so sucks. But you got one award out of it, and maybe now the Vikings have a defensive coordinator they can trust. And we don't see what happens in that first round, and Justin Jefferson can go a little bit further, but figure out that quarterback. And Dalvin Cook, real quick, played pretty much the entire season with a separated shoulder, dislocated shoulder.
3.
Ridiculous, bro.
Since week
he was solid as hell. Solid. but it makes sense as to why he didn't. It wasn't as explosive. Didn't look like the Dalvin Cook from last year, 2 years ago. Even though he has dealt with injuries before, it just didn't look the same. Get better, man. Get better.
Of course. And then finally, our last award, which is going to lead right into the next topic, the MVP of the National Football League. Hey, Nips, how you doing? We are doing good. Welcome to the show. The MVP of the National Football League and the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs' very own Patrick Mahomes. And as I mentioned, Super Bowl MVP, Kansas City Chiefs beat the Philadelphia Eagles 38-35.
It was a good game. That's all I'm happy about. It was a good
Before we
game.
get to the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, it was dead. There was nothing left for Kansas City. They were dead in the water. Some people said they were going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson was coming to take over the division. Justin Herbert was going to jump leaps and bounds, and the Raiders brought in Devontae
Finally
Adams.
got their head coach as well. Oh my goodness.
That was it. It was done.
Over.
Kansas City dead in the water. Doesn't matter. Patrick Mahomes said no Tyreek Hill. No problem. Walks away.
Yeah.
Almost unanimous MVP. Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow obviously made some pushes late in the season. Josh Allen went like,
yeah.
We'll talk about that for next.
That's honestly exactly
we'll leave that for
noise and everything.
We'll leave that for next year when we deal with the Josh Allen cycle. Yeah. But Patrick Mahomes owns the MVP. Before we talk about
him, he owns the entire league.
Hey, that's how it goes, man.
Dude's ankle's hurt. Yeah, I mean, he's a baller. I don't bet against Patty, I guess, but when
good point.
He deserved it. I would have loved Joe Burrow, obviously, but no, it went to the right man. It did. He lost Tyreek Hill. Granted, you still have Kels.
Right.
That's fantastic to have, but not gonna knock him for having an all-time great at tight end, and his O-line was able to protect him a little bit better than when they lost the last Super Bowl.
0 sacks allowed.
Yep, look at that.
Award on the shirts in the parade today.
Congratulations, Patrick. Don't get comfortable.
oh, who's coming for him? The Saints?
All of us.
All
of us coming after him. It's true.
Maybe if the New Orleans Bengals was a thing, then sure, I'd believe it.
Bruh, you put our defense. Just give us Joe Burrow and Jamar, and we're good. We're good.
All right, you'd be all right. But let's get on to it. The Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs. We'll save the controversial hold call that everyone wants to stink it up about.
I mean, Bradbury said he did it, so he did it. I guess it's like that commercial. I touched the ball, coach. Shut the ball, coach. Bro, what are you doing?
You know how it is. But of course, let's get to some of the game-changing plays. Of course, something that stung your heart and the pockets of many. Harrison Buckner missing the opening field goal attempt. Game changing. It definitely is game changing. Breaks down the game and changes the momentum.
Pissed.
Oh, I know. That's why I had to bring it up.
Yo, hold on. The entire game, I'm like, okay, he gets a field goal here. We can get a field goal here. If we get into OT, he kicks a field goal. They kick a field goal. He kicks another field goal. We're good because they changed the OT rule. That motherfucker, bro, missing that field goal. Woo! Bet on the wrong kicker, man. Wrong kicker.
Hilarious. Of course, that was a big play. And then, of course, the lone turnover of the Super Bowl is a fumble recovery for a touchdown from Jalen Hurts. As they are up 7-14 with the ball punted back to them. And the way they were moving up and down the field, we may be looking at 21-7 prior to the fumble score. Big play. And then for me, personally, excluding the holding, obviously, Kadarius Toney.
Yes.
60-plus yard punt return to bring it down all the way to the 5-yard line. Big plays. But those are just some of the plays outside of the holding call that everybody wants to be crying and bitching about, of course. Those were some of the plays to me really changed outside of not letting Mahomes get fucking sacked. That's going to be a huge game changer. But just some of these plays down the stretch and honestly throughout the game, for me personally, outside of the holding call, is really what, just a couple plays. Literally just a handful of plays changed the game.
Yeah. And you bring up the hold call. I think it's really the consistency, right? Because there was a play earlier in the game where an Eagles, I believe, grabbed his arm more. It was more so than what it looked like for the hold, and it didn't get called. Right. And then we're in the crunch time. They're literally about to be fourth down. It would give time to the Eagles, and then they call it. And all the Eagles, they all owned it. They were like, that was not the definer of the game. We all could have played better. You know, it happens. It sucks that it happened, but it happened.
Right.
The game was good. The mistakes,
great game.
They were minuscule.
High scoring. I told you were going to get some points.
Yeah, you did.
I told you were going to get some points. I was so happy.
But there would have been less mistakes if that field was better as well. Like that field, I don't know what was happening. They showed the shot.
Prepared for 2 years, rolled outside for sunlight every afternoon, watered regularly.
Oh, you would
blah blah blah. I was like, bro, what?
The Rihanna halftime show, when they started doing Umbrella in the house I was in, they were like, "Oh, where's the rain? Do the rain." I'm like, bro, they're already slipping all over the field. You want rain added to it, too?
Players are changing their cleats and shit, bro.
They showed the shot of, like, 40 pairs of cleats. It felt like stacked up. They're like, they're having to change it after every drive, it feels like. Like, that field was awful.
Yep,
if there's anything to bitch about, it was the fact that field was the worst field ever.
Atrocious. Yes. Absolutely terrible field.
Yes.
Where is it next year? Have they announced where next year's is going to be?
No clue.
Make it in a fucking dome. Send it to Indianapolis, please. Get it in a fucking dome and don't let that shit touch outside because everything was stupid.
New Orleans is supposed to get it soon from what I was hearing.
All right. I'm not. Get it in a dome, please. Get it in a dome. I don't want to replicate what we just saw. But enough about the turf. And enough, we already talked about Patrick Mahomes, bum ankle, amazing second half to clean things up.
Hey, I need whatever he took, bro. That man went crazy after that her ankle.
The flip side of things, Jalen Hurts, 300 plus passing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and he answered a lot of questions this season, if any, that the Philadelphia ownership and management had. Oh, is it Vegas this year? Okay, cool.
Yep.
But yes, Jalen Hurts proving he is him for the Philadelphia Eagles, proving he is a franchise quarterback. He was able to get literally right there. They were probably a possession away from winning that game.
They were a quarterback sneak away from winning the game, if we're being honest. The fact that man went like 35 of 40 the entire season. What?
He was on point,
Nobody could stop this man for 1 yard. That is all-time record. He also set the record for rushing yards in a Super Bowl. So it sucks that the one turnover comes from him and it's returned for the touchdown. If the defense had a chance, it's going to happen.
Yep.
He showed he could fight back. He did not let that one mistake define him. There was almost a second one. Thankfully not, but
yeah, that one got called back. That one
happened. Yeah.
Yep.
My gripe with the Eagles, they didn't run Miles Sanders at all. Like, I know this man's a free agent, and I bet on Boston Scott and Gainwell, so I didn't want them to rush Sanders. But at the same time, watching the game, when they did put Miles Sanders in, the Chiefs were not worried about them running. Because
he also got knocked out of the first quarter at one point. I wonder if that was any issues.
Maybe. But, like, if you're going to put him back in, at least give him a chance to do something. Not fake the handoff to him and then not even pass him the ball when he might be. It was tough seeing their best running back of the entire season not get any touches really in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think that had more so to do, not lack of his production, but the fact that how hot Jalen was during that game. He was torching Kansas City through the air, on the ground, any which way. Outside of the fumble for the touchdown, the Eagles are, it's a totally different game. Yep. It is a totally different game. Like I said, they were moving the ball up and down the field all night long. they're probably looking at 21-7 giving the ball back if they don't. 17-7. And regardless, that changes it. That puts Buckner 38-38. Like, then we're going overtime then. Like, there's just a lot that happens. Buckner also missing the field. You know, those just
that
little
shit
plays.
pisses me off. That pisses me off, man. Yeah.
Just the plays, just a couple plays. Yep. But that's going to wrap it up for NFL, but not over for the NFL. Of course, what are the Bears going to do? Are the Colts jumping up? Apparently, they like that Alabama guy. We're going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers this offseason. Where is he going to go? The Jimmy G saga continues. Derek Carr is officially released. Probably your new quarterback. Who knows?
Probably.
That's you guys are also in the Baker Mayfield sweepstakes. Of course, the Patriots will be drafting. The Saints will be drafting. The NFL conversations will not stop here, even though the season is over. The offseason is looming, and boy, is it ever exciting. But Mamba, that brings us on to the next topic. We're moving on to the NBA, and what better place than, again, pick up where we left off last week. We talked about all the potential trade deadline news and rumors that we were hearing, what could happen, and then Thursday came, and a lot happened.
Of shit happened. Yeah.
Now we are here for the aftermath. Before we get to the obvious two big names, we'll touch up on our teams. We'll start with my Boston Celtics. We made a slight little under-the-radar play to land Oklahoma City's Mike Muscala, of course. Like I said, under the radar. It's sort of given us a perspective on what would have been if we were able to have Danilo. Who knows if we're going to be able to make a deep enough play our front to maybe get Danilo back. And, you know, it's just able to help expand our team. Robert Williams obviously plays the 5. Grant, Al, Muscala, Blake all play very similar stretch 4 roles. Hauser, you know, Hauser started as a shooting guard against Milwaukee.
Like, has played minutes for y'all.
We obviously want to have some sort of shooting big in order to pair with Robert Williams and then be able to roll out the 2 shooting bigs whenever we want Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to.
Y'all should have went and got Lennox all out.
Nah, probably.
Y'all should have.
More too expensive, truthfully.
True.
He's playing himself. He's played, bro, everywhere. Honestly, on Olynyk, real quick, he has exceeded expectation everywhere he plays. That's why he gets a bag everywhere he plays. Too expensive, but. Boston, a low-key little play on our end, and then you guys doing some revamping out with John Wall, out with Luke Kennard,
back to Houston,
out with Reggie Jackson, and in with old-time buddy Eric Gordon coming back, bringing in Bones Highland from Denver to pair up with Terrence Mann, future, little 1-2 punch in the backcourt of youth.
Maybe.
You never know. You never know. And of course, Mason Plumlee coming on over to give you guys some added center depth, which is something you have been asking for.
Yeah, I did. I was,
Take us down the Clippers experience.
It's ass, bro. Are you kidding me? It's we made trades, but okay. They are good players, and they are going to give more than what John Wall was giving. Where hopefully Bones can get more than what Reggie Jackson could give, and Eric Gordon, come in, shoot your threes, give us some quality minutes, it's the moves weren't bad,
right?
But it's still, I need to see it. I need to see more because that was all moves for our bench.
Yeah.
That was almost for our bench.
20-some games left. We're coming down to the home stretch here.
I'm still hoping we can get Russell. Maybe Russell and Bones form a little nice duo together. Who knows? Right. But the moves were solid. I would give it a C+ if I was to just a C+ until I see what they can do, and then maybe that goes up. But it's not ooh boo. This player sucks. Mason Plumlee can give quality minutes out of this. There are times where you're not going to want to have him in there because he's a little bit slow,
Yeah.
But same with Zubac. So that's when we go small, It's like, okay, we'll see. And then Bones, he's going to be a spark plug, kind of like a Lou Will, Jamal Crawford off our bench, Norman Powell, kind of similar. And, they looking to score.
Yes.
And then same with Eric Gordon. He ain't looking to score everywhere. I just need you to score from the 3-point line, bro.
Shoot some threes, knock some threes.
Oh, and we got 3 seconds. out of it. So that ain't bad.
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
Made some little additional moves. Let's teeter across the hallway from the Clippers. The Los Angeles Lakers basically overhauled their entire bench, got rid of Russ and Patrick Beverly and a bunch of first and some seconds. Now they have D'Angelo Russell. They brought in Rui Hachimura. They brought in Malik Beasley. They bring in Mo Bamba, surprisingly.
Yeah. Yes. For Pat Bev, bro.
Retooling Lakers. Retooling Lakers.
Oh my God.
Thoughts on what's going out before we tackle the two top juggernauts in the Western Conference that made their moves.
When I saw all the moves, I was very optimistic for Laker fans.
Right.
I was expecting they to actually start like winning a win streak. I thought was going to come from this because getting D'Lo the shoot 41% like standing knockdown shots. JV coming in to play defense, athleticism. Just
I didn't even mention him.
Do everything that you can, And then Malik Beasley, he's a shooter, and I like the moves that they did. It is now Darvin Ham. How can you get these players to all play together? Because your team has improved. You cannot say the Lakers have not improved. Yep. They have improved. Now we need improvement, or they need improvement out of Ham. It doesn't look. It still just doesn't look good, right? There's still like 1-1, 2-1, something like 1-2, something like that.
Yeah, you gotta wait.
Gotta
wait. After
very small sample size, but get your shit together. It's very close, but y'all are like 13th, I believe.
Yeah,
still 13th. Yeah, and they're 2.5 games out of the 10th spot. And the Jazz, they're still winning even after trading. So it's going to be tough. Personally, I said in the party chat, if everything works out for the Lakers and they can stay healthy, I could see them jumping as high as the 6th seed because I loved every piece that they got to put around LeBron and AD. But after seeing the very small sample size, it's still looking the same for them.
Right. Nope, that's sort of what it feels like. I literally told you this about an hour after it happened. To me, this felt like 2018 Cavaliers all over again. They start that year with Derrick Rose and Isaiah Thomas, Dwayne Wade, Jay Crowder, all these guys, and then by trade deadline, it's George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance. They retool the entire team. Everyone falls in love with them. Then obviously we saw what happened. Everything fizzled out, and then it was terrible. They all suck. Blah 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 blah. That's sort of what I'm seeing is coming again. That's literally what I feel is going to happen.
If they don't make the playoffs, there will be the questions of, I wonder if Frank Vogel, if he was the head coach, if maybe it would have been different. He won a championship.
Bro.
Yeah,
the coaches are usually not the scapegoat.
Fired, and it's like, damn, bro, y'all are still bad.
And Patrick Beverly said the issue with the Lakers was not on court related.
Yeah,
he said it was some other shit. He literally said it was some other shit. So there is something going on in the Laker organization. Is some people pushing personal agendas? I don't know.
It's how it's gonna go. Maybe. It's always how business goes. When you want and you want and you want, someone isn't going to fit that piece, and they're gonna have to skedaddle.
Yeah,
or it's gonna be some trouble. Yeah,
pretty much. A little crazy. From the Lakers to the two teams that obviously made the biggest waves, the Mavericks, of course, land Kyrie Irving for Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie, along with some picks. And then, of course, Kevin Durant lands in Phoenix for Brooklyn Bridges. Love it. Shout out to their new nickname.
I like it.
Cameron Johnson.
Yep.
and a boatload of picks.
Jay Crowder was in there, but Jay Crowder
Jay
got
Crowder
flipped
ends up
to
moving
the
to
Bucks
Milwaukee.
for
Yeah,
5
there's a lot going on.
seconds.
Yeah, there's a lot going on
And
there.
then
But
Hill and Ibaka and Laura went to the Pacers, and then
yeah,
5 seconds got switched somewhere in there, and
nope.
then like 5 more seconds got
We
switched.
keeping it basic.
Yeah.
We keeping it
Yep.
to the basic. So
Yep.
we'll start with the Dallas Mavericks. Something that a lot of people were saying for basically years since we saw what Luka was and what he was slowly becoming was he needs help, emergency help, get him a second ball handler. We seen the experiments. Jalen Brunson came in, basically played him safe. Yeah, he basically got himself out of Dallas with how good of a secondary ball handler he was. They tried the Spencer Dinwiddie experiment.
Right.
They tried it. And then we know, obviously, they try to bring in Kristaps Porzingis to bring him in a second co-star. Nothing is working out. And then Mark Cuban goes totally to the left field and brings an absolute star. Arguably, you can literally argue especially this season, with the way he was playing, wrapping up in Brooklyn, he was playing as one of the best point guard, if not the best point guard in the NBA this season. Obviously, with injuries to Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard was a little iffy.
Right.
Brings in I don't want to say emotional, I don't want to say unstable, the
personality,
the mystery that is Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
Thoughts on the trade and what is the future of Dallas?
I hope it works. I do hope Kyrie ends up staying with them.
Well, on that note, he said he was not answering any questions about his extension because it was going to be a distraction. He already addressed that. He said, do not ask me no questions about it. I'm here to just finish off this season and this season only, and we'll figure out what the hell happens from here.
And obviously, going into it, they had to both agree on that because Kyrie wanted that extension with Brooklyn.
Yep.
And then the Mavs were probably like, well, let's just wait and see. And then even Kyrie was probably like, yeah, we should just wait and see because I may still want to play in LA. So, benefits of the Mavericks, though. You're going to be able to keep most of your money. You don't have the taxes and all that and the contracts and stuff. Luka, that's a pretty good duo to have, like, person next to you. That's going to take a lot of attention away from Kyrie. If Luka's having one of those games where he's just stepping back, laying it up, like doing his little midi, doing everything offensively, and people are going to start looking at him, and then he can just start dishing to Kyrie.
Yep.
Or then vice versa. Kyrie can do it, and then he can just dish to Luka.
A little concerned. It's a little concerned about that.
A little bit.
We've seen it in Brooklyn. Him, KD, and Harden were like, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, my turn, your turn. And that's what's going to be scary in Dallas.
Better. Hopefully it can flow better. But offensively, yes. Yeah, I want to see this team work.
Right.
They do need a few more. Like, Josh Green's been great. Losing Dorian Finney-Smith is probably like the main piece they were. Do we really have to?
Right.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it. It's Kyrie Irving. Maybe we can find someone else to replace. Maybe Josh Green is that replace, and then we can get the person to replace Josh Green, and we have that person waiting in the wings to get built up. I like it though. This Mavericks team, it looks fun when they have Kleber, when they have Dwight Powell, when they have like 7 big men that they love to run. It just it works, and we saw it in the playoffs with just Luka. And yes, again, Dorian not being there for his defense, it is tough. But I think they will figure out somewhat to where I hope Kyrie's like, yeah, I'll give this another chance, and then maybe they lure someone else there.
Yeah. Maybe it's definitely gonna be crazy.
LeBron to the Mavericks. Let's do it.
No.
he always he's always talking about playing with Luka.
No, absolutely not. No, but the Mavericks are definitely it's gonna be something to see and how it develops, because if it's literally just the 2-man band pretty much and nobody else, it might not be that enticing to go down there. But if it flows and they sort of can keep it together as a team and as a unit, and everybody's happy, playing good, feeling good, then they're gonna be a scary out, especially when you got to beat them 4 games.
Right.
That's gonna be a tough out. Definitely.
And then the other question for it was who takes the final shot. You ride the hot hand is who takes the final shot.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, nah. If Luka's popping off, you give it to. If he breaks, he breaks. He was popping off, and then it's gonna be like, and then you give Kyrie if he's going off, do it.
Give it to
If one of
Kyrie.
them's
I hear
off,
it.
obviously you go.
If I had to pick, I ain't gonna lie, I might be picking Kyrie.
Yeah. Honestly,
I
right
might-
now,
I
yes.
might be
Right now, yes, I would go Kyrie because he has that track record. But Luka, he's hit some game winners, man. He's hit some game winners. Yeah.
All right, let's take the hop on over from one state to the next. The Phoenix Suns
Stay in between. Yeah.
Anyways,
Everybody forgets about New Mexico, man.
anybody care about
All
New Mexico?
right.
Anyways,
Yes.
Kevin Durant finds his way to Phoenix. And I mean, this was a marriage that we were, everybody was trying to figure out.
Yep.
There was some sort of marriage between Phoenix and Brooklyn. We just didn't know how it was going to happen because of these rookie
During the
deals and stuff
offseason
like
as well.
that.
Yep.
There was a lot of that going on.
We'll
I don't know.
DeAndre and Mikhail and Cam and
there's a lot going on.
Yep.
But we reached the deadline and it got done. It definitively got done. Kevin
it was
Durant.
done before we even.
Yeah. It's a done deal. It was
Huh.
a done deal. But Kevin Durant joins Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. They managed to keep at least that core three together. Obviously, losing Bridges
TJ back,
was
man. Come
painful.
On.
Yes.
That's the best piece.
Yeah. Bubble TJ Warren, maybe.
Yeah.
But yes, they make all these plays and they bring in Kevin Durant. Obviously, also included, as previously mentioned, Jay Crowder was probably something that they wanted to get out. Whatever happened there.
Yeah.
He's also come out and said they don't want to mention it. They don't want to talk about it. They want to keep it private. He's going to respect their wishes. Whatever it was that transpired between them, water under the bridge now. But obviously he was a part of that to get him up out of there. Bridges, I feel like, was a pain. Had to hurt the organization and the team. He literally was the Iron Man of the NBA.
Yes.
He has been the Iron Man of the NBA.
Yep.
Flying under the radar. Consistently doing everything that teams. He was, the Swiss Army knife for that team. He was,
improving. His defense is still solid. He finished top whatever, like defensive player.
I believe he ran. He was either second to Smart or he finished in the top 3.
Something like that.
An absolute stud. But we'll get to Brooklyn and everything they did and how that team's going to look going forward. Brooklyn. I mean, when Kevin Durant becomes available and he decides he wants to pick your team.
Yeah.
You kind of just jump on that and, you kind of deal with the rest later.
Yes.
Little iffy now, he's been banged up quite a lot in the recent years. Obviously, his body is slowly starting to betray him. He's obviously not deteriorated. When he's healthy, he is literally arguably the best player.
Yeah.
He's disgusting.
At least the best scorer in the NBA.
Exactly. But nonetheless, the future for Phoenix, we know they were in the finals a few years ago. These are the moves that need to be made to get over that hump. We thought Chris Paul was the move to get them there.
Got him there.
Yeah. Yes. Now this is like the extra but the super team should leave a little bit of a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Is this a super team? Are those 4? Does that make it a super team? Because everybody likes to shit on Chris Paul.
You have 2 absolute first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yes, but everyone shits on him and that he's old and that his
there
body
was
isn't keeping up.
There was almost a decade period stretch where Chris Paul was the best point guard.
But he is 37 now. And you cannot say people don't disrespect DeAndre Ayton as well.
Is an all-star. And DeAndre Ayton, most likely if he was in the East, is an all-star. This is pretty damn close to a super team.
This is the best chance Chris Paul has at a ring.
I get the injuries and shit, but if they're literally just healthy for 16 games, we'll say 20 to 25 games. If they're healthy,
so you can get those.
Come on now. That's it. They need literally a month and a half.
Chris Paul, please. I just need one. Kevin Durant. I didn't shit on you when you went to Golden State, okay? So please, just help Chris Paul. Chris Paul was your nemesis, man. He was your nemesis. He could lock you down when he needed to. Now you don't have to worry about it. Now help this man get that ring. They're trying to address because they did lose 3 forwards. Granted, one of them wasn't playing.
Yep.
They got TJ Warren back.
Yep.
His defenses, but they're trying to get more forwards. They went and got Terrence Ross. They were trying to get Danny Green. I'm sure they'll try to get someone else to come in and play some defense. But
The biomarket's out there.
When Kevin Durant, like you said, when it's known that one of the teams that Kevin Durant is willing to go to in a trade is the Phoenix Suns, you have to make that trade. Mm-hmm. No matter what you gave up, it's Kevin Durant, bro.
Legit. It's just tough. It's going to be crazy. Yes. The West is obviously, they made a bunch of plays. We just talked about the Lakers. Clippers made some low-key moves. Yep. The Nuggets made a little bit of movement.
Thomas Bryant.
Suns are holding almost a juggernaut now. We obviously have to see how that all plays out.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. But we do have some teams that didn't really make a moves that sort of feel like they're stuck in the mud.
Losers.
Thoughts on Chicago Bulls sort of staying packed with where they're at?
It's stupid. Absolutely stupid, bro.
Just stupid.
I watch Kenny Beecham, KOT, 4Q, and huge Bulls fan, and he posted on Twitter the quote of their GM, like, we're not going to settle for mediocrity, and we're going to continue trying to improve. You lied. You're a liar. Absolute lies were told.
Yep.
The fact that I can't even think, their window was the first year the team was together, and that window is shut.
Yep.
That's tough. Zach LaVine doesn't even look like he wants to play at times for him, and then there's reports coming out that him and Billy Donovan are like apart. Like
the Knicks were calling,
I can understand you not liking what you're getting back, but sometimes look at what Brooklyn got for Kyrie.
Right.
It 1 first, 2 seconds, Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie. Yeah, that's solid, but that is not what the package you thought would be for Kyrie Irving.
Right.
And anybody who says, oh, yeah, I did, you're lying. Just like the Bulls GM.
Yep. I mean, it's kind of similar to Kawhi when there's, a little bit extra attached for it.
Yeah.
Yep. Kawhi went for 1 first.
Jakob,
DeMar and Jakob. Yeah. And that was it. You know what I mean? When there's a little bit extra that gets sprinkled in off the court, some of those deals absolutely get a little easier. Of course, another team didn't make a move along with Chicago. There's also out in the East, the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks. 2 more teams
down there. The Raptors.
That didn't. Raptors, another team. There was a lot.
They got Jakob. So my thing with the Raptors and like everything that's coming out is everyone wanted that wing to defend. Apparently, when Mikal got traded to the Nets, some teams offered 4 firsts for him. If that is true, that is absolutely insane. And then Dorian Finney-Smith was offered 2 firsts apparently for him.
Yeah.
OG, it was known everybody wanted him.
Yep.
Them getting Jakob was the moment where it was kind of like they may not do anything. They're going to see if Pascal's playing his 4 spot, if OG is at the 3, Barnes at the 2, I'm assuming Fred at the 1, and they actually have a center, what can we do? If it doesn't work out, offseason, these trades, hopefully, teams get moving. It's like the Bulls. We didn't do anything, now we do. The Raptors. We didn't do anything. We didn't even make the play-in. Let's do something. You brought up the Hawks.
Yep.
I love Sadiq Bey. Them getting Sadiq Bey.
He almost didn't get to go there.
That was Trailblazers. The fuck are y'all doing, bro? What are y'all doing, bro? But Sadiq Bey to the Hawks, a lineup of Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, Sadiq Bey, DeAndre Hunter, and Clint, that sounds amazing. And then you have John Collins where he ain't coming off the bench. And I know I didn't just put him in that 5. But John Collins can come off the bench and it'd be perfectly fine. He can get his buckets, like that's what he wants to do. He wants to score, be the best 6 man you can be. Because I like Sadiq Bey more than I like John Collins, and I like DeAndre Hunter more than I like John Collins.
Don't blame you.
And that's more defense next to Trae Young.
And he
So it's
needs it.
less. Yes, you need it, and that's more defense. For when they have John Collins in there, you can run DeJounte, Sadiq, DeAndre, John, Onyeka, Clint,
Yeah.
whoever you want at the. I like Sadiq Bey with the Hawks.
Right.
The
Yeah.
Miami Heat, trash. What are
Yep.
y'all doing? What are
Yeah.
y'all doing?
Don't know what's going on. Don't
But
know what's going
nobody
on.
wants Duncan Robinson. And that's like their best piece to offer
Yeah.
because of the money.
Yep. Terrible.
Kyle Lowry, $28 million. He was rumored to the Clippers,
They
the
did terrible.
Nets. I think the Lakers were there
All that shit came back to shoot them in the foot.
Yeah.
All that shit came back to shoot him in the foot.
I feel bad for Bam. I feel bad for Jimmy.
Yep.
And at this point, I kind of feel bad for Tyler Hero too.
Yeah. Hey, low key, he should have requested his fucking trade a while ago. I'm just saying there was rumblings before about him wanting to be the starter. Right. He probably should have asked out. But quick, before we move on to our All-Star weekend predictions, try to break all that stuff down. The new look Brooklyn Nets, their very first game. You literally messaged me. I love this new look Nets, bringing in all these pieces. Spencer Dinwiddie coming back, Dorian Finney-Smith, Bridges coming in. Obviously, you already have pieces like Cam Thomas and Nicholas Claxton that have taken big steps going forward.
Edmund Sumner.
Right, we'll get to the elephant in the room. Ben Simmons is on this team that is trying to rebuild and fix this franchise, and he has been deemed by some owners, manager, some of the front office people, and he ain't got no trade value in this.
It's that contract,
league, apparently.
If he had the Duncan Robinson contract, people would love that shit. It's the fact that he has the max. Ben Simmons, Rudy Gobert. No one wants those contracts.
No one wants to touch him.
Everyone knew Rudy Gobert getting that contract was going to be terrible. For Ben Simmons, it was like, look, he's in the All-Star game. He's averaging over 10 points.
It's been look at Giannis, and he's just hasn't been.
However, with this team, you have Spencer Dinwiddie, a ball handler. Patty Mills ain't playing. He's not a ball. Ben Simmons can be the primary ball handler now. He doesn't have to worry about giving it to Kyrie, giving it to KD.
Right. Yep.
McHale isn't going to give me the ball. Give me the ball. Cam Johnson, give me the ball.
Who knows?
Give me the ball.
Those two, Bridges and Thomas, by next year, we might be having some walking 20-pointers there.
Yes, I agree with you. Cam Thomas, bucket.
Yeah, he might. Most improved player next year.
But
must watch.
Ben Simmons being able to dime Cam Thomas or hit McHale or hit Cam or hit Spencer, or the team doesn't have anybody selfish, it looks like. Everybody there is going to play defense. They're going to try their hardest on offense. The most selfish player will probably be Ben Simmons. And it's not on the field, on the court selfishness. It's just, where is he at mentally? If he can come in and be the point guard for this team, get back to a tiny bit of what he was in Philly and be able to build that confidence. Bridges, no one really expected that man's offense to improve. No one really believed in Cam Johnson's his
that's
offense.
another one, yep.
Dorian Finney-Smith has showed he can get buckets when he's given the chance. Ben Simmons can set everyone up on this team, and they have mad first-round picks now too.
Yes, they do.
So they have
They can get rid of him. They could get rid of him if they wanted.
They have a lot of pieces that they can work. It's similar to the Raptors, right?
Right.
They have a lot of wings. They have defenders that people are going to covet, and they're willing to be like, okay, we didn't get the first, we didn't get the second. The third overall pick in this draft is cool. Are we sure we want to pick? Maybe the Nets move up and get someone there. Maybe their picks hit and they still have the Rockets pick, or the Rockets have their picks, something like that. Like, it's going to be.
They have the Rockets pick.
It's going to be weird for the Nets. Yeah, but I do love what they've done with that team. Trading away your two best. When Kyrie and KD are like, bro, we're done. Don't want to be here anymore.
Still the fourth seed at the time.
Yes, they did the best they could, and their best was pretty damn good.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's definitely gonna be it's kind of that makes you think about, some of those Pacer teams where it's like, hey, this
Yeah,
team looks pretty damn good on paper.
right.
How will it amount to? We'll
Can
see.
we get that star player? Do we have that
Yeah.
star? Like with the
Yeah.
Pacers, you hope it's Tyrese. For
Yep.
Brooklyn, I hope it's Cam Thomas.
Hey, you never know. You know what I mean? We have a
Right.
bunch of these. There's a few teams. Toronto, obviously, over the last few seasons since losing Kawhi's been like,
Yeah.
this team's not bad on paper. OG, Scotty Barnes, Van Fleet, and All-Star. Like, you have all these pieces, Rookie of the Year, an emerging star, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yep.
Hopefully, on Brooklyn's case, it works out.
I just hope they're not bottom feeders again. Like, after they made that trade to get all those Celtics old heads, bro, they were
people are asking, willing to give up 4 firsts, basically 6 firsts in total for
for 2
Dorian
defenders.
and Bridges. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that sounds enticing. You can go the Oklahoma City route if you really felt like it. You know
I wonder
what I mean?
if OKC was the team that offered the 4
firsts for Bridges.
Yeah, like that would make sense. He would fit so well with OKC.
I get it.
You know,
I get it. I like it.
Maybe the Rockets offer 4, the Spurs offer. You know, they're probably not, but the teams with the picks were probably the teams like, we're not winning now, and Mikhail isn't about to come in and drop 30, 40 points and lead us to he could average 20 for you. But what you want from Mikhail is that defense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And him next to Shea and Giddey and Chet next year, shit, that sounds pretty nice. Sounds pretty nice.
What could have been. Could have been.
Shout out the Nets.
Happen. Yeah. Shout out to the Nets. There's obviously a ton of other trades. Tough to cover everything. So we're just going to continue moving on to All-Star Weekend, which is also super loaded this year. Again, not going to be able to get to everything. Celebrity game.
The Rising Stars.
Whatever.
Yeah. There was a lot going on in what I was reading. So
there's just a lot going on.
Rising Stars.
The Rising Stars game. Obviously, we're now up to 4 rosters. Darren Williams, however you want to pronounce it. Joakim Noah, Pau Gasol, and Jason Williams, obviously heading the teams. Some of the names being featured: Jalen Green, AJ Griffin, Bones Highland, Walker Kessler, Jalen Duren, Josh Giddey, Evan Mobley, Jose Alvarado. That's an interesting one. Paulo Banchero, Scotty Barnes, Jaden Ivey, someone that you like. And a bunch of G League.
That man has made me some money.
G League Ignite. Scoot Henderson will be able to come out and showcase his game. Obviously, his name has been flying up the Giraffes radars after his showdown with Victor Wembanyama. Scottie Pippen Jr. will also be attending. These are just some of the names. There is a ton of other young, promising athletes. How are you feeling with the Rising Stars? You went from rookie first year versus second year, you know what I mean? Then we had
World versus US.
Yeah, World versus US, and then Shaq and Barkley were, you know what I mean? And now they're just sort of reinventing. Now we're up to 4 teams, all kind of playing each other, doing a little bit sort of knockout style, like soccer, kind of like pool play, you know what I mean? Whoever comes out on top in this game, that game sort of move up. Gonna be interesting.
I don't really remember the games last year, if I'm being honest. Like,
there was, again, they keep adding more and more stuff, so it's kind of getting a little overwhelming.
What I hope, though,
keep track of everything
is, I know it's not the same because they're not going up against the All-Stars or other NBA players that have been there, done that, vets. I do like the fact that they are allowing the G League Ignite to show players that aren't even in the league yet. Like, this is what we can do. And I always want games to be competitive, right? And I know with like Pro Bowl and All-Star, it gets a little, let's just have fun. Show the coaches, show the teams what you can do.
Warriors versus
Tim
Hardaway Jr. all over again.
Crazy. Even not just that, just show you can hit the knockdown 3. Show you're passing the ball to your team. Show the players and coaches that you want to be in the league and that you are going to do whatever it takes. Have some fun in the process, but try. Just try, you know?
Right. I hear it. Definitely see, as you mentioned, G League Ignite players being featured. Also, not going to get too much into it. G League were drafted yesterday. There's a G League draft. There will be a G League game going on, so we will be able to see more of the G League talent.
Right.
That will be on display. And you know what's going to be in our future league? Pascal Siakam was the most improved player, won the championship. Yep. Where did he come from? Literally the G League. There's so many players that make their beginnings there. So hopefully we get to see some entertainment. We get to see some star-studded players. But of course, let's continue moving on. Yes. Saturday night, the one, obviously after the All-Star game, the biggest night, the skills contest. Of course, it's being led by none other than Team Giannis Antetokounmpo.
They won it last year.
Yes, I believe so. Antetokounmpo brothers, the trio of Alex, Giannis, and Thanasis will be taking on the rookie teams, which we have had. The lads. Thank you, Jimmy, for tuning in.
Jim!
We have obviously the rookie team being led by Paolo Banchero, Jaden, Ivy, and Jabari Smith, featuring some nice talent there. And of course, the hosting city team. Last year we had Cleveland. Yep. This year we have the Jazz team led by Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, and Walker Kessler. Busting down for Team Jazz, sort of home team advantage. How are we feeling? We got to see. There's a lot of rookies on display here. There's 4 of them here with obviously Team Rookie and then Walker Kessler himself. Some of the future. Obviously, Alex is not on any main roster, so a bit of a glimpse into that. We got to see Sexton. We get to see Jordan Clarkson. Giannis just dominates All-Star festivities. He's just the shit. But how are you feeling skills contest?
I hope the rookies kick their ass. I hope the rookies kick ass, yes.
Is that biased because you like Jaden Ivey so much?
That's biased because I think Banchero's really good.
Carrying?
I really like Banchero, but Ivy, he does it all for the Pistons right now. Jabari, he's a little lacking for the Houston Rockets, but apparently the coach has admitted to everyone that he don't be drawing shit up for him. So what do you expect? But I don't want the Antetokounmpos to win. And in Team Jazz, I'm just being a hater towards Nips, man.
Poor Nips. Yeah, I mean, this format is another one that has changed. We used to get the WNBA player from one of the cities, the retired player, and then the current player for one of the teams. We had that going on for a while.
Half-court shot.
The half-court shot was
bucket.
Chris Bosh,
bucket. Yeah.
Bucket. But yeah, you know what I mean? This event has changed over time. Now the Antetokounmpos have been a staple of the skills contest. It helps when they do win it and they're defending champions, of course. Yeah. I do like the concept of a rookie team and, of course, giving the hometown team or the hosting team players a chance. Sexton was dealing with some injuries. Everyone knows Jordan Clarkson is an amazing 6-man, but, he wouldn't traditionally be featured in this. So it's great to see, of course. And then we also I think this also did away with bigs versus guards.
Yeah.
This also, we're also past our big
versus bonus, man. Yeah.
So a lot has changed. And then, of course, moving on. Arguably the most hyped event, of course, is the dunk contest. But this year,
it's always the most disappointing too.
It is looking a little funky. Of course, representatives are Kenyon Martin Jr., Mac McClung, Trey Murphy III, and Jericho Sims. And yes, I know a lot of people just heard that and said, who,
they just did what I did. They just scratched my
and of course, this is another one that has changed over the years. You used to get 2 dunks and 2 in the final. Then we had the team one. Then
that
the
was
one.
So bad.
That year was the year that we had like the Escabit. You had 40 seconds for all 3 members to do dunks, and a lot of it's changing a lot. It's changing a lot. They're doing a lot with the dunk contest. It's lost some of its let's face it. Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon.
It peaked.
They broke it.
That's when the dunk contest peaked, man.
Sorry, dunk contest. You're just not that great this year, but
I'm optimistic. I'll be optimistic.
Maybe. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping the Who players that everyone, the casuals don't know about these players. Most of these people should know who Mac McClung is. To be honest, he was.
You should know who all of these people are if you watch basketball. If you're a casual, I can understand like maybe not knowing Mac McClung or maybe not knowing Jericho Sims. What would you? Contest the hype? I don't know, bro.
It's very plain and simple, and it's what the MLB does for the home run derby.
You get
The
money.
MLB is guaranteed you're going to get the top, I think it's 8 home run hitters, guaranteed. In the NBA, on the other hand, you're not guaranteed to get the 4 or 5 best dunkers. You telling me you put John Moran in here? That's going to move the needle. LeBron James comes in here, moves the needle. Russell Westbrook moves the needle. You know what I mean? You get some of the most exciting dunkers that are out there.
Yeah.
That'll be the way.
Aaron Gordon said, put me in the All-Star game.
One of the reasons why, Eric Gordon versus Zach LaVine was so high up there. 2 guys that we knew for dunking.
Yep.
These guys, what are they known for? They're not known for much.
They're known for their athleticism.
It's not their fault, but try to get the big names. Ask the big names like, yo, we'll fucking throw $25,000 in a charity of your choosing on the DL if you want. Like 25. Whatever you want, bro. You win, you get $250,000 for incentivize the top stars and some of the most athletic John Moran alone will fill out, Vince Carter back in the day, like, Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins,
like, you imagine
Bernard
Ja
King
versus Zion in a dunk contest, bro?
You know what I mean? Like, just you
ESPN
have to bring
would cream themselves, bro.
It's the star power. MLB does it right. Home run hitters, the best 8 guys we're getting in there because we're gonna guarantee you guys are gonna hit the ball out of the park. With you know what I mean? It was like who was it? Was it Harrison Barnes and Victor Oladipo in our dunk contest a few years ago? And it was not pretty. You know what I mean?
The Wakanda.
Solid play. Yeah, and then the in-game dunk that they put in the 2K.
Yeah.
Good players. Don't get me wrong, but they're not moving the needle. And this is All-Star weekend, All-Star Saturday night.
Yeah.
That's what
you got to give them money.
You got to get some of the stars in here. And literally move the needle. And, hey, I'll be happy if Andrew Wiggins got in here. Andrew Wiggins is Gary Payton, Kuminga, Obi Toppin.
I think last year.
We know can dunk. Like, these guys that are known for their in-game dunks, their athleticism. Let's get them on there. I appreciate some of the young kids getting their love and all that, but
John Collins. Maybe he could do something.
You want to get the stars in there, which brings us to the event of the night, most likely, which probably should main event, headline, whatever you want to call it, end the night, the 3-point contest, where we got some names. All-Star, Tyrese Halliburton. Soon-to-be All-Star, Tyler Hero. One of the best 3-point shooters of... Tyler Hero is so going to be an All-Star one day.
I don't know.
He will.
I don't know about that.
One of the best 3-point shooters of what feels like the last decade, flying under the radar.
And he's only been in the league 5 years.
Hey,
he's been in here for he has. He's up. I think he's like more threes than Curry in a span or whatever.
He is a 3-point shooting machine. Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter, who's on his way quietly having himself an outstanding season for 3. An All-Star, Damian Lillard. Another All-Star, Lauri Markkanen. Granted, it was this year. Another guy, future All-Star, Anthony Simons. And then, of course, someone that is in the discussion for MVP, Jason Tatum. That is how you round out a field of All-Stars, future MVPs, past MVP, however you want to wrap it up. That's how you get it. Some of the league's best 3-point shooters, best percentages, overall 3-point makes, and then you throw in Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, get the star power in there, and we have a nice 3-point contest.
Is it now more exciting to see more threes in a row than dunks now? We've gotten to that point,
Sadly.
Yeah, we have. It's because we want to see a person shoot perfect.
The 50s and the dunks, the 50s and the dunks don't feel as hype as someone hitting 25 out of 30. You know what I mean? It's just the way, because all the 50s and the dunks are kind of
you don't have to be creative.
You just copy a dunk that someone did 6 years ago that we haven't seen in 6 years, and it's like, boom, there's your 50.
Pull out the Jordan dunk.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone's gonna jump from the free throw line. We're gonna get someone jumped over. We're gonna get the prop stuff. Like, we're gonna see the same thing. Not every time are we gonna see someone light up.
Right, 29, 30.
You know what I mean? Curry and Clay dropping, 22. You know what I mean? Those are, that's how you get the event moving. 3-point contest, Curry,
I agree
Clay.
with you.
You know what I mean? You get those stars in there, and this is a star-studded event.
Crazy that we're at that point now. Threes are more exciting. I love it though.
It'd be like that, man. It's crazy. It is crazy. It's sad. How are you feeling about this event, though? We're a little down on the dunk contest,
wins this,
but the 3-point contest got some hitters.
I don't know who wins this because I don't know who's gonna hit the most for like the dunks.
Right.
I can just throw out a name and maybe I'm right.
Right.
But Laurie's gonna try to put on a show for the Jazz fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damien's coming in to splash threes. Kevin Huerter, Tyler Hero, Buddy.
Yeah.
Tyrese got a funky jumper that I want to see him just hit all of them, and then you got Anthony and JT. It's who I don't know. I really don't know who's going to hit the most in this one.
It's nice. Those are the years that we love to see. It reminds me of the Curry, Clay, Seth Curry, Joe Harris year where all those guys were in there and then Joe Harris walks out the winner. It's just, how could you have ever guessed? I'm excited.
Yeah. And that's another. It's not a popularity contest either.
You
have to hit your shot.
The best of the best shooters. That's why we need the best of the best dunkers.
Yes.
Okay, enough of that. Anyways, and then of course the headline for Sunday night, the All-Star game. Honestly, not a lot to say about this. We know the players involved, but we don't actually know the teams because they're going to be drafted. We already went over the reserves and stuff like that. But Mamba, obviously, we had injury reserves: Zion out, Curry out, Durant out. I believe Jaylen Brown will also be.
He's getting reevaluated next week.
Yeah, so we're bringing in, of course, Lauri Markkanen will be starting. Will be considered a starter now that Zion's out. So shout out to him. The host team will have a starter. Anthony Edwards and De'Aaron Fox become honorary All-Stars, of course. And, of course, we'll see what happens with Jaylen Brown and who's going to be taking his spot. I don't know if any injury replacement has been announced or who, the lead person is. I would assume Harden, probably?
Harden's already in, ain't he?
Oh, is that who they – is Harden in over Durant?
Hold on. I might have been wrong. No, I think Pascal's in over Durant.
Over Durant.
I know Pascal got put into it.
Yeah. So, like I said, we got some things to figure out. We got some things I don't know. I am expecting a very fun, exciting game. I don't know what the rules are this year. Are we doing quarter by quarter again?
I hope they do it like they've been doing it with the and then in the fourth quarter you got to get 21 points or something like that.
Yeah, whatever it is. Are we doing that again?
I love that.
Another format that has changed 1,000. Yeah.
They play defense in that fourth quarter, man. Let's see. And I'm trying to see if they've announced it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Brown's he's.
Brunson, Jalen Brunson said, "Hey, if you need someone, I'm still there." Obviously,
Of course.
It's really only showing Jalen Brunson right now.
Okay, I hear it.
But not confirmed Jalen Brunson. But if we going off the way people been playing, Jalen Brunson,
especially the last week,
deserves that spot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But it's going to be an interesting All-Star game. We'll see how teams get drafted. Hopefully, we get to see some reformed friendships, so to speak. Maybe we just get
Luka and Jokic.
Luka and Kyrie together, LeBron and Kyrie, Luka with LeBron, Giannis with
Luka with LeBron and Kyrie, so they can be like, "Hey, bro, we can do this with the
Mavericks. You never know. The All-Star weekend is where things start to happen.
Tampering. I mean,
yeah. Literally, yes, that is where it begins. But that is going to do it for us here on the show. Tune in on Friday. We're going to be breaking down our predictions for the Elimination Chamber. Already another review for WWE coming up. We have been on fire as the road to WrestleMania continues to heat up. And then, of course, tune in here next week when we get some more news about any NFL things that are going to be happening.
Or NBA.
There's Derek Carr. And then, of course, NBA. We'll wrap up the All-Star weekend.
The buyout.
And we take the projections on what's going to happen on the final 20 games of the season. All that and more right here at RGTP.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, notice on. Have a great day.
And a good night.